The blue-white light of Earth's moon illuminated the bridge of the UES Defiant as Captain Han Mina paced. This deep space patrol should have been routine, a 6-month mission to the outer edges of the solar system to test their new faster-than-light drive. Instead, they had stumbled upon something that would change human history forever. "Captain, 2 unknown vessels detected," called out the sensor officer, his voice tense. "Neither match any known configuration." Mina rushed to the main display. "Magnify." The screen showed 2 craft unlike anything humans had built. One was elegant and silver, with curved lines that seemed to flow like water. The other was larger, angular, with protruding weapons ports glowing an ominous red. "They're fighting," Lieutenant Kim Ta-won said, hands flying across his console. "The smaller vessel has taken heavy damage. Power fluctuations suggest their engines are failing." Mina studied the tactical display. The smaller ship was desperately trying to evade, while the larger vessel methodically closed the distance. "Life signs?" she asked. "Both ships contain biological entities," confirmed the science officer. "Different from each other, both different from humans." First contact. The thought sent a chill down Mina's spine. Humanity had long debated whether alien life existed, and now they had proof. Watching what appeared to be an execution. "Tactical assessment," she ordered, her voice steady despite her racing heart. Lieutenant Kim analyzed the data. "The smaller vessel's shields are failing. Hull breaches detected. The larger vessel continues to fire some kind of energy weapon." The bridge fell silent. Everyone understood the gravity of the moment. Interference meant revealing humanity's presence to unknown aliens, possibly hostile ones. Non-interference meant watching a slaughter. Mina made her decision quickly. "Helm, intercept course. Lieutenant Kim, charge weapon systems but do not target. Communications, prepare all first contact protocols." "Captain," the executive officer cautioned, "regulations state." "I know the regulations," Mina cut him off. "We're not letting an execution happen on our doorstep. Not while we can stop it." The Defiant's engines flared to life, propelling the ship between the combatants. At close range, the larger ship was even more intimidating, bristling with weapons far more advanced than Earth's best. "Open a channel," Mina ordered. "Universal greeting on all frequencies." The communications officer worked frantically. "No response, Captain." "Position us directly between the vessels," Mina ordered. "Make our intentions clear." The Defiant slid into place, its hull facing the aggressor. For several tense moments, nothing happened. Then, unexpectedly, the larger ship's weapons powered down. Without any communication, it turned and accelerated away, disappearing into the darkness of space. "They're gone," Lieutenant Kim reported, disbelief in his voice. "The damaged vessel is hailing us," the communications officer announced. "They're transmitting. It appears to be mathematical sequences, basic communication protocols. Respond in kind," Mina ordered, "and prepare a medical team. They may need assistance." Hours later, in the Defiant's conference room, Mina sat across from the alien representative. It, or rather, he, according to their hastily assembled translation software, was bipedal but clearly not human. His skin had a bluish tinge, with small ridges along the temples and jawline. The medical team had treated his injuries while engineers worked to establish communication. "I am Rock," the alien said through the translator. "We are auxiliary. You saved us from Galactic Council enforcers." "Galactic Council?" Mina asked, leaning forward. Rock nodded, a gesture surprisingly similar to human body language. "A confederation of species that controls most known space. They enforce strict technological development laws." "And the ship that attacked you?" "Enforcement vessel. The Council forbids independent development of faster-than-light technology without their supervision. Your species has violated their most sacred law." Mina's blood ran cold. "We didn't know. We've never encountered alien life before today." That is why I warned the Council against this sector, Rock said. Emerging species deserve guidance, not punishment. But the Council fears uncontrolled expansion. And what happens to violators? Mina asked, dreading the answer. Containment, Rock said grimly. Your world has perhaps 3 of your months before their fleet arrives. Containment. What does that mean exactly? Rock's large eyes met hers directly. At minimum, forced technological regression. At worst, if resistance is offered. He didn't finish the sentence. Mina stood. Then we need to prepare. Will you help us? Rock hesitated, then nodded. The Council's methods are wrong. I will share what knowledge I can. As Mina left to contact Earth, she knew humanity's peaceful exploration of space had ended. In its place, a desperate race for survival had begun. Commander Park Jun-ho pressed his palm against the cold observation window, gazing at the massive warship suspended in the orbital shipyard. Workers in spacesuits swarmed around the hull like busy insects, welding the final armor plates into place. The ship's name gleamed in fresh paint across the bow. UEWS Prometheus. 5 years had passed since the Defiance encounter with the Xilari. 5 years of frantic preparation. The warning from Rock had proven accurate. 3 months after first contact, a Council scout fleet had arrived at the edge of the solar system. Only the diplomatic skills of Captain Han Mina and the Xilari refugees had prevented immediate conflict. The Council had been persuaded to grant humanity a probationary period, during which Earth would demonstrate its commitment to galactic stability. Everyone knew it was merely a delay tactic. The Council never intended to accept humans as equals. Magnificent, isn't she? Admiral Lee Sunok's voice broke Jun-ho's concentration. Jun-ho turned to face his superior officer. Despite her 60 years, Sunok stood straight as a rail, her gray-streaked hair pulled back in a severe bun. Before the alien contact, she had been an academic, specializing in theoretical physics. Now, she was the driving force behind Earth's military response. The UEWS Prometheus, Sunok said with unmistakable pride. Our finest achievement. Jun-ho studied the warship with a critical eye. At 2 kilometers long, the Prometheus dwarfed any vessel humans had built before. Yet compared to Council dreadnoughts, it was modest in size. Will it be enough? Jun-ho asked, voicing the doubt that kept him awake at night. Sunok's lips tightened. It has to be. She gestured toward the ship. We've incorporated everything that Xilari taught us, but with human innovation. The Council relies on energy shields and plasma weapons. We're betting on kinetic projectiles, point defense systems, and tactics they won't expect. Jun-ho nodded, trying to share her confidence. The Xilari had been invaluable allies, providing insights into Council technology and tactics. But they had also made clear the overwhelming odds humanity faced. The real advantage is this, Sunok continued, tapping her temple. Council species have been the dominant force in the galaxy for so long they've grown complacent. They follow established military doctrine without question. But humans, we improvise, Jun-ho finished. Exactly. Sunok smiled thinly. The Prometheus isn't just a warship. It's a statement that humanity won't go quietly. They watched in silence as a work crew attached the final plate to the ship's hull. A cheer erupted from the observation deck as engineers and military personnel celebrated the milestone. Jun-ho didn't join in. Tomorrow, he would take command of humanity's first true warship. The assignment had come as a shock. At 38, he was young for such responsibility. But his background in both naval warfare and xenobiology made him uniquely qualified. You've read your mission briefing? Sunok asked quietly. Yes, Admiral. Establish contact with other non-Council species, particularly those rumored to resist Council authority. Sunok nodded. The Xilari believe we aren't the only ones who chafe under Council rule. If we can find allies. And if we can't. Sunok's face hardened. Then the Prometheus will show the Council that subduing Earth will cost them dearly. That evening, Jun-ho visited his family one last time before departure. His wife, Song-mina, had prepared his favorite meal, though neither had much appetite. "How long will you be gone?" she asked, trying to keep her voice steady. 6 months, if all goes according to plan. He squeezed her hand. "The Prometheus has the most advanced communication systems we've developed. I'll send messages when I can." Minna nodded, blinking back tears. The girls wanted to stay up, but it got too late. Jun-ho slipped into his daughter's bedroom. 6-year-old Soo-jin and 4-year-old Eun. He slept peacefully, unaware that their father might never return. He kissed each on the forehead, memorizing their faces. The next morning, as Jun-ho boarded the shuttle to the Prometheus, Admiral Sunok met him at the gangway. "Commander, we've received a priority transmission from the outer system monitoring posts," she said, her expression grim. "A council fleet has dropped out of FTL near Neptune. At least 7 vessels, including what appears to be a heavy cruiser." Jun-ho's heart sank. The probationary period, apparently over. Sunok handed him a datapad. "Your departure has been moved up. You launch in 3 hours." As the Prometheus broke free of Earth's orbit, Jun-ho stood on the bridge, watching his home planet recede on the view screen. 3,000 crew members, humanity's best and brightest, now depended on him. Behind them, nearly 8 billion humans looked to the Prometheus as their shield against annihilation. "Set course for the Ta Ceti system," he ordered. "Maximum speed once we clear the solar boundary." The great engines roared to life, carrying humanity's hopes into the darkness of space. The Prometheus emerged from faster-than-light travel with a flash of energy, its massive hull settling into normal space. Commander Park Jun-ho gripped the arms of his command chair as the starship's sensors began mapping the Ta Ceti system. "Status report," he ordered. Lieutenant Hong checked her console. "All systems nominal after FTL transition. Sensors coming online now." Jun-ho nodded, relieved. The auxiliary-inspired drive technology was still experimental, and each jump carried risks. "Sir," Hong's voice suddenly tensed. "Multiple vessels detected. Council configuration." Jun-ho's blood ran cold. On screen, the main view screen showed 5 ships in tight formation. They were instantly recognizable from the auxiliary briefings, sleek vessels with the distinctive curved hulls of Council enforcers. The center ship was nearly twice the size of the others, bristling with weapon ports. "They've spotted us," reported the tactical officer. "They're breaking formation, moving to surround us." Jun-ho kept his face calm, though his heart hammered in his chest. This first encounter would set the tone for all future relations between humanity and the Galactic Council. "Open communications," he ordered. "Standard greeting protocol." Before his communications officer could comply, the main screen flickered. A humanoid figure appeared, similar to humans in basic shape, but with mottled orange skin and large, lidless eyes. "Human vessel." The alien's voice crackled through the speakers. "This is Commander Nam of the Council Enforcement Division. Your unauthorized technological development violates Statute 7 of Galactic Law. Power down and prepare for boarding." Jun-ho stood, straightening his uniform. "This is Commander Park Jun-ho of the United Earth Warship Prometheus. We come in peace and seek dialogue. Our development was independent, with no knowledge of Council restrictions." Nam's large eyes narrowed. "Ignorance of law is no excuse. Your species was granted probationary status, a generosity rarely extended, yet you accelerated your military development. For defense only," Jun-ho countered. "We seek peaceful relations with all species. Perhaps we can discuss terms that would satisfy both parties." "There is nothing to discuss," Nam interrupted, mandibles clicking in what the auxiliary had taught humans was a sign of aggression. "The Council's decision is final. Compliance or elimination. You have 30 seconds to power down your systems." The transmission cut abruptly. Jun-ho turned to his bridge crew, their faces tense but determined. "Combat stations," he ordered quietly. Activate defensive systems, but hold weapons. The Council ships moved into attack positions, surrounding the Prometheus. "Sir, they're powering weapons," called out the tactical officer. Jun-Ho nodded grimly. "Let them fire first. We need to be clear about who started this." Seconds later, energy beams lanced from the Council vessels, deliberately missing the Prometheus by narrow margins. "Warning shots. So much for diplomacy," Jun-Ho muttered. Then, louder, "Deploy countermeasures. Activate all systems." The Prometheus suddenly transformed. Panels along its hull slid open, revealing weapon ports that had been concealed from scans. The ship's energy signature changed as systems previously kept dormant hummed to life. "Sir, Council vessels are reacting to our power surge. They're charging main weapons." Jun-Ho took a deep breath. The moment humanity had prepared for had arrived. "Prepare kinetic launchers. Target the flanking vessels first. Leave their command ship for last." The tactical officer's fingers flew over his console. Kinetic weapons locked. "Fire." The Prometheus shuddered as its railguns accelerated solid metal projectiles to a significant fraction of light speed. The Council ships, expecting energy weapons they could shield against, had no defense against the sheer momentum of the hypervelocity slugs. The first projectile struck a Council vessel amidships. Its shields flared brilliantly, then collapsed. The ship spun wildly, venting atmosphere. "Direct hit," shouted the tactical officer. Their shields couldn't handle the kinetic energy. "Reload and fire again," Jun-Ho ordered. "Target the next ship." The Prometheus rocked as it absorbed return fire from the Council vessels. Their energy weapons scorched the human ship's armor, but the specially designed ablative plates held. "Minor damage to outer hull," reported the engineering officer. "All critical systems intact." The Prometheus fired again. A second Council ship lost power, its engines dark. Commander Nam's face appeared on screen again, his orange skin now pale with shock. "What trickery is this?" he demanded. "Your weapons technology is entirely our own," Jun-Ho replied calmly. "We studied your tactics and developed countermeasures. You rely too heavily on energy shields, Commander." A third kinetic round found its mark. The Council formation broke as the disabled ship drifted into the path of another. "Human." Nam's voice had lost its arrogance. "This attack on Council forces is an act of war." "You fired first," Jun-Ho reminded him. "We responded in self-defense." The main Council vessel suddenly turned away, its engines flaring brightly. The remaining functional ships followed, retreating at maximum acceleration. A cheer erupted across the Prometheus bridge. Jun-Ho raised his hand for silence. "Damage report," he ordered. "Hull integrity at 87%. No casualties. We can complete repairs within 12 hours. Jun-Ho nodded, suddenly aware of how tightly he'd been clenching his jaw. "Stand down from combat stations. Maintain sensor sweeps for their return." He stared at the retreating signatures of the Council ships. Humanity had won its first battle against the galaxy's ruling power. But Jun-Ho harbored no illusions. They had just made a powerful enemy even more determined to crush them. "Communications," he ordered. "Prepare a full report to Earth. They need to know what we're truly facing now." The great chamber of the Galactic Council glowed with soft blue light. Curved walls rose hundreds of meters to a transparent dome showing the stars above. Representatives from 87 species sat in tiered seats forming a perfect circle. At the center stood a holographic display currently showing the battle between the Prometheus and the Council enforcement fleet. The recording ended with 3 Council vessels disabled and the others retreating. For several moments, stunned silence filled the chamber. Then chaos erupted. "Impossible," shouted Counselor back, his scaled skin flushing deep purple with rage. He pounded his 4-fingered hand on the control panel. "One primitive vessel cannot defeat 3 of our ships. The recording must be falsified." "The data is authentic," said the verification minister, a small hovering being composed mostly of translucent gas. Commander Nam transmitted it directly through secure channels. Bak's crest rose in agitation. Then Nam is incompetent. These humans were nothing but cave dwellers 2,000 cycles ago. High Admiral Choi watched the replaying footage with careful attention. Unlike the politicians around him, Choi had commanded warships for 3 centuries. The Council's most decorated military leader recognized the skill behind the human tactics. "Play the sensor data again," Choi ordered. "Focus on their weapon systems." The hologram zoomed in on the Prometheus as it fired. "Primitive kinetic weapons," sniffed Counselor Mick, representative of the technologically advanced Lorabi. "How could such basic technology penetrate our shields?" "Velocity," Choi replied simply. Those projectiles were traveling at nearly 40% of light speed. The kinetic energy overwhelmed our standard shield configurations. He stepped closer to the hologram, studying the human ship's design. "These humans," he continued, "they evolved on a high-gravity world with extreme climate variations. They are what we classify as Deathworlders. Their physical resilience and aggressive problem-solving should not be underestimated." The term Deathworlders sent a ripple of unease through the chamber. Most Council species had evolved on worlds with stable climates and gentle gravity. Deathworld species were rare and often troublesome. "The report indicates they've only had faster-than-light capability for 6 years," noted Counselor Yoon, a slender being with silvery skin who represented the diplomatic Tellery. "Yet they've already adapted technology from the auxiliary refugees and developed innovative countermeasures to our standard tactics." Yoon rose from her seat. "We should negotiate. Their innovation could benefit the Council. Perhaps offer them protected status in exchange for technological exchange." "Absolutely not," Bak shouted. "Reward their defiance. Their mere existence violates our most sacred principles about controlled technological development." The militarist faction, representing nearly a third of Council species, roared their agreement. "If we allow these humans to remain independent," continued another militarist, "other species will notice. The Draxi rebels, the Veroni separatists, all will take it as a sign of Council weakness." First Minister Tech, the Council's highest elected official, raised all 4 hands for silence. The chamber gradually quieted. "This is a serious matter requiring careful consideration," Tech said. "We have not faced such direct defiance in over 700 cycles." "There is nothing to consider," Bak insisted. "Our laws are clear. The humans possess unauthorized technology and have attacked Council vessels. The penalty is subjugation." "But at what cost?" asked Yoon. "If one human vessel can disable 3 of ours, what will their full fleet do?" High Admiral Choi stepped forward. "Minister, if I may speak." Tech nodded. "The Council recognizes High Admiral Choi." "I have reviewed the complete tactical data," Choi said. "The humans show impressive innovation, but their technology remains fundamentally inferior to ours. They succeeded through surprise and unconventional tactics. Now that we understand their methods, we can counter them." The Admiral brought up a new hologram, a massive warship nearly 10 kilometers long. "The Dreadnought Indomitable," he explained. "Our most powerful vessel, equipped with adaptive shield technology and firepower equivalent to our entire enforcement fleet. Against such might, no human trickery will prevail." The chamber grew silent as the Council members studied the imposing vessel. First Minister Tech looked troubled. "Is such overwhelming force necessary? Perhaps a diplomatic approach." "Diplomacy is seen as weakness by primitive species," Choi interrupted. "The humans must learn their place in the galactic order. A decisive demonstration will prevent a more costly conflict later." After hours of heated debate, the Council voted. By a narrow margin, they authorized the deployment of the Indomitable under Admiral Choi's personal command. As the session ended, Counselor Yoon approached Choi privately. "Admiral, I urge caution. Something about these humans troubles me." Choi smiled thinly. "Your concern is noted, Counselor, but I have faced Deathworlders before. Their aggression makes them predictable. And if you're wrong, The Admiral gestured toward the hologram of the Indomitable, still floating above the chamber floor. "With this vessel under my command, errors are a luxury I can afford." He bowed slightly. "I will handle this personally. The matter will be resolved within 30 cycles." As Choi strode from the chamber, his certainty was absolute. No primitive species, no matter how resourceful, could stand against the full might of the Galactic Council's finest warship. Behind him, Counselor Yoon watched with growing unease. The 3 human warships hung silently in space near Alpha Centauri, their hulls still bearing scars from previous encounters with Council forces. Commander Park Jun-ho stood on the Prometheus bridge, studying tactical displays with his officers. "Long-range sensors detecting multiple FTL signatures," reported Lieutenant Hong. "Council ships incoming." Jun-ho nodded. Intelligence from their auxiliary allies had warned them of this confrontation. After the Prometheus had defeated Commander Nam's squadron, the Council had voted to send their most powerful fleet. "All ships, battle stations," Jun-ho ordered calmly. "Activate stealth measures on the defense platforms." Around them, hidden among the system's asteroid belt and scattered across strategic positions, hundreds of automated weapons platforms remained powered down, invisible to standard scans. Space itself seemed to ripple as the Council fleet arrived. 5 heavy cruisers emerged from FTL, followed by 8 smaller vessels. But it was the final arrival that made even veteran crew members gasp. The Indomitable broke into normal space like a mountain materializing from thin air. The dreadnought dwarfed the human vessels, stretching nearly 10 kilometers from bow to stern. Its hull gleamed with weapon ports that could reduce small moons to rubble. "Size comparison on screen," Jun-ho ordered, keeping his voice steady. The display showed the Prometheus, humanity's proudest achievement, appearing like a toy beside the Council flagship. "They're hailing us," said the communications officer. On screen, the face that appeared belonged to a Council species Jun-ho recognized from briefings. Admiral Choi's orange-mottled skin stretched across a face that resembled a human's, but with larger, unblinking eyes and small ridges where eyebrows would be. "Human vessels," Choi's voice carried an unmistakable tone of superiority. "This is High Admiral Choi of the Galactic Council. Your species stands in violation of multiple statutes regarding unauthorized technological development and attacks on Council enforcement vessels." Jun-ho met the alien's gaze directly. "Admiral, we defended ourselves from unprovoked aggression. We still seek peaceful relations." Choi's expression didn't change. "Your primitive defiance has been tolerated long enough. Final warning. Power down your systems and prepare for boarding. Resistance is noted but futile. Surrender now." Jun-ho's response was measured. "You misunderstand humanity, Admiral. We never fight alone." At his signal, Lieutenant Hong activated the command sequence. Throughout the system, hundreds of previously hidden defense platforms powered up simultaneously. On the tactical display, they appeared as a web of light surrounding the Council fleet. Surprise flickered across Admiral Choi's face before the transmission cut. "They're powering weapons," called the tactical officer. "All ships, evasive maneuvers," Jun-ho ordered. "Defense platforms, commence firing." The battle erupted with blinding intensity. The human defense platforms launched swarms of kinetic projectiles at the Council vessels. Meanwhile, the Indomitable's massive weapon arrays swept space with energy beams that could cut through standard armor like paper. Despite humanity's preparations, the Council's firepower was overwhelming. 3 defense platforms exploded in rapid succession. A direct hit rocked the Poseidon, sending it spinning with its port side in flames. "Poseidon reports critical damage," Lieutenant Hong called out. "Life support failing on decks 3 through 7. The Prometheus shuddered as enemy fire impacted its shields. Warning lights flashed across the bridge. "Shield strength down to 30%, reported engineering. "We can't take another direct hit from their main weapons." Jun-ho studied the tactical display. The Indomitable remained largely untouched, its advanced shields deflecting their attacks. The human fleet was being methodically dismantled. "Sir," urged his executive officer. Perhaps we should consider withdrawal. We can't win this. Jun-Ho shook his head. Not yet. He opened a secure channel. Major Kang, status. A woman's voice responded through static. Strike team in position, Commander. Awaiting your order. Jun-Ho took a deep breath. Their final gambit. The one not even the auxiliary knew about. Execute Operation Trojan Horse. Throughout the battle, what appeared to be debris from destroyed platforms had been drifting toward the Indomitable. These were actually specialized boarding craft, their energy signatures masked to register as battle wreckage. Inside one such craft, Major Kang and her 20 Marines checked their weapons one final time. All were veterans, chosen for this mission because of their exceptional skills. They wore experimental combat suits adapted from auxiliary technology. Remember, Kang told her team, we have one objective, the main engine control room. Nothing else matters. Their craft bumped gently against the Indomitable's hull. Magnetic clamps engaged, and cutting tools began slicing through the outer armor. Alarms blared on the Indomitable's bridge as Admiral Choi received reports of multiple hull breaches. Minor damage from debris impacts, an officer reported. Internal security responding. Choi dismissed the concern, focusing on the main battle. The human vessels were nearly beaten. Soon, Earth itself would feel the Council's wrath. Meanwhile, Kang's team fought their way through the Indomitable's corridors. The alien crew, unprepared for boarders, responded slowly. When they did meet resistance, the humans' combat suits gave them a crucial advantage in the close quarters. Engine control room ahead, Kang reported to Jun-Ho. Heavy resistance. Complete your mission, Major, Jun-Ho replied. We're almost out of time. On the Prometheus, Jun-Ho watched as the Apollo took a direct hit, its midsection breaking apart. Then suddenly, the impossible happened. The Indomitable's lights flickered, its massive weapon arrays went dark. The dreadnought began to drift. Major Kang reports mission accomplished, Lieutenant Hong announced, unable to keep excitement from her voice. They've disabled the Indomitable's main power core. The momentum of battle shifted instantly. Without their flagship's firepower, the remaining Council vessels hesitated. When the human ships launched a coordinated attack against the next largest cruiser, the Council fleet began to retreat. One by one, they jumped to FTL, leaving the disabled Indomitable behind. As the Prometheus limped home, Jun-Ho received a new transmission, not demands for surrender, but a request for diplomatic talks from Counselor Yoon of the Tellery. Humanity had entered galactic politics not as subjects, but as equals. Retriclaude can make mistakes. Please double-check responses.